What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another manga review, and I'm going to be reviewing Gantz Volume 26, and I thought it was important to give this volume its own video and not combine it with reviews for others because there's a couple concepts, themes, and ideas going on in this volume that I think are really deep and deserve to be talked about. I feel like Gantz is a little bit split in the community as far as like manga fans go because some people do feel that Gantz is really deep and like one of the best manga out there, and other people think Gantz is pretty much just gore and nudity and it's just pretty much for the shock value. It's just pretty much there to be edgy. There's things in it that really kind of cross the line and it kind of feels like it's for the sake of it, and that it's not that deep, it's not that complex, it doesn't really have a lot to say. Well, when dealing with art, in my opinion, it all comes down to individual interpretations. This is what I'm always preaching, this is what I'm always talking about, and I think this is the most important and beautiful thing about art in general. And I mean this about manga, about movies, anime, books, novels, everything. There is an original intent that an author has that they want to get out into the world. There's ideas that they want to express. That's one thing. But when it comes to each of our own individualistic kind of experiences, when we pick up a piece of art, we are going to interpret it through the lens that we have. RES, Reticular Activation System. Wait, is that Reticular Activation System? It basically means that there are things that we put in prominence in our mind that's more important than other things. So when we view the world or view art or view anything, we are putting it through our own lens of things that we put up high on a pedestal and not thinking about other things. So when you read something, you are looking at it through your own perspective, and through that you are interpreting what the artist is trying to say. Now, you might come up with a completely different idea from what the original intent was, and that could be in a positive or negative way, or your ideas could exceed what the original intent was because perhaps the author wasn't even thinking of that, or you could just think that it's not that great and miss a bunch of really cool deep context that's happening in there. I don't know which one Gantz is. I'm just saying as far as art goes, I believe it is really up to our own individualistic interpretations. That's all I'm saying. So when it comes to Gantz, for me, I do feel like there is a lot of like, the gore, the nudity, the sex, and all that stuff, it's very, very prominent. But I do think there are things beyond that and behind that there are ideas sprinkled in within Gantz that are really, really engaging and complex, and things that I'm really excited to read and talk about. And though Gantz doesn't necessarily explore all of those ideas, it kind of just sprinkles them in and then continues on with its story and then goes into the next mission. And a lot of times I do wish that we had more of conversations between characters. I wish we had more people speaking and talking about the things that are happening rather than just a couple of chapters and then going into the next mission and then having nothing but action for a while. And I love the action, I love the aliens, and I love everything that happens with that. But sometimes I wish we had a little bit more time to explore, and I think that might be one of the biggest issues that people have with Gantz. Anyways, I'll talk about all that when I do like a Gantz series review when I'm done. Sorry for ranting, but what I'm basically trying to say is there are a couple concepts in this volume specifically that I really want to talk about that I think are a little bit more profound that perhaps people give it credit for. One is the idea that, there's a couple of talks about God in this volume, and there was a couple talks about God in the last volume, where in the last volume, Kato, he's face to face with the main 100-point alien, the lead boss, and he asks, do you know why we're killing you? Do you know what this is and whatnot? And he talks about being a being that's like this ultimate powerful thing over other things and calling that God, and that could that be God? And what does that have to do with Gantz? And in this volume, both two characters basically make the statement that there is no God, that they believe there is no God. It might be three, actually. It might be Kurono, Nishi, and Inaba, I believe is his name. And with Kurono, he's sitting there with Tai, which, first of all, oh my god, when this volume starts and Kurono is back and he doesn't remember when he was revived, and this is going to get into a whole other concept that I'm going to get into in a second, but anyways, he doesn't remember when he was revived before, so the last thing he remembers is Tai dying. Like, he hasn't seen Tai alive, at least this version of Kurono. So Kurono's like running through the streets, like trying to find her right after they get out of the Gantz mission, and she goes out trying to find him, and just when they get together, when they find each other in the street and Kurono hugs her, oh my god, like that was such a powerful emotional moment that dude, I almost cried. It was freaking fantastic. It was amazing. Because when Kurono couldn't remember Tai, and Tai, you know, they were trying to like put their memories together and figure out what happened, it was like such an awkward, like you want them to get back together, but it's just so painful to see. And now that Kurono does have these memories back and everything, and just the way that he embraces her, and it's so freaking beautiful. I was happy. I was very happy to see that. But anyway, so after that, Kurono is sitting with Tai, and he's talking about how he believes that there is no God, because in what world, you know, and this is something that we all think about, you know, in what world is there a God that's supposed to be this good-natured, loving, all-encompassing thing where all of these horrible things can happen? People can die in these gruesome, disgusting ways, where there can be all these atrocities in the world, where there can be nuclear war, where there can be, you know, humans are so free to do whatever they will that they cause so much evil in the world, and there's nothing there preventing it. Like, nothing at all. The only thing that can prevent it is other humans. And instead of letting that be a horrifying fact, instead of that letting it be something depressing, and the fact that there is no God, there is nothing watching over us, instead Kurono says something along the lines of, that's why it's so important for us to do something about it, for us to continue to live, to continue to thrive, to survive. I think that is the ultimate meaning of it, and it's the connections that we have with people. It's when we experience love, but even more than that, it's even more simplistic than that. It's just simply just living. It's just being you. It's breathing. It's eating. It's sleeping. It's existing. It's experiencing. It's our five senses. It's everything that is just so simplistic that people overcomplicate to an exhausting degree, instead of just taking a step back and just thinking, like, how cool is it to just be alive? And perhaps, you know, the Gantz simulations and everything, I call them simulations, they're actually happening. I don't know why I'm using that word. But perhaps that kind of shows, you know, how valuable it is in a way to stay alive, to be who you are, to thrive, you know, to fight for survival. So Kurono shows that it's very important for us to preserve what we find precious, you know, these things, these beautiful things in life. And there are plenty of beautiful things. And that it's up to us to do it, to not rely on some sort of God power to intervene, because that's not going to happen. What's going to happen is each of us on an individualistic level raising ourselves up for the betterment of the entire planet and the betterment of the entire universe. And how to do that is you have to be strong in yourself. And I don't mean like physically strong, take care of your body and everything, but what I mean is just rising above this hatred and anger, and rising above all of the disgusting things in the world that have happened, and being above all of that. I don't know. This is what I get out of it, and this is why I'm saying this might not be what Gantz is trying to say at all. It's just how I'm interpreting it through my own past experiences and worldview and whatnot. And hey, I could be completely wrong, but that's one of the greatest things about art. So another concept I wanted to talk about in this volume was when Rika decides that she is going to go to Kurono and kind of confess her love to him. And we've known that Rika has been deeply, you know, attached to Kurono ever since their first mission together, ever since seeing what he could do, seeing the leader that he became throughout this series. And here's the thing, is that, you know, for Kurono, imagine this, like his original character, you know, he just really wanted to get laid. He just wanted sex, you know, and imagine this beautiful actress, singer, model, Rika, this person that everybody knows, this like gorgeous supermodel person, comes to him and like wants to be with him. But now this is after he started dating a girl who, I mean, Tai is pretty cute, but like it wasn't the type of girl that he would have gone for, you know. She's not necessarily got the same kind of feminine frame or allure that somebody like Rika does, you know. Tai is kind of a nerd. Some people find that really cute, but you know, that's just kind of what it was. And now Rika's, you know, coming on to him and everything, and after all they've been through and they shared this experience together, it's something that he can't talk to Tai about because of you know, you're not allowed to speak anything about Gantz or else your head explodes. And so there's so many variables going into the idea that Kurono and Rika would make a pretty good couple. But Kurono does love Tai at this point. They've been together through enough of regular emotional relationship kind of stuff, and he grew to love her. And so Kurono turning down Rika in that moment was such a powerful step for his character. However, it's also a really, really sad, depressing step for Rika's character. Neither character is in the right or wrong here. I mean, their feelings are completely genuine, and this is what's so sad about it, is that, like, for Kurono, this is a big step for his character. But for Rika, she doesn't really feel like she has anybody, because she does live in this world of fame and fortune and whatnot, and everybody's looking at her as a thing. They don't see her as a person, and this is like what happens with a lot of famous people, especially like actresses and whatnot. They realize that they're only kind of valued for their beauty or, their talent too, in Rika's case, but like, who are they? And especially with Rika going through Gantz and everything, so there's this person that she has this great attachment to, and now they can't be together, and so Rika is super upset. She runs out of Kurono's apartment crying and everything. And then here's the thing, here's the crazy concept, is that Rika is thinking to herself that if she gets 100 points, that she could bring Kurono back from the dead again. And this is a big kind of idea that's been floating around in Gantz throughout the entire series, is every single time that these characters are transported, when they're teleported to the room, out of the room, everything, are they just being copied? There was an analogy earlier, very early in the series, where Nishi is talking about, a human fax machine. So, and when we're talking about there being no God, and we're talking about the value of human life, and we're talking about all these things, so if another Kurono could be created, say she gets the 100 points and then wishes for Kurono back because she wants to be with him, and if there's two versions of him, then they could be together, right? What value does that put on the human life? What is that saying about human life? What is it saying if you could create multiple copies of a person over and over again? And then this also goes into the original character of Kishimoto, who died during the Buddha mission. Her and Kato were getting close together. Kato encounters her in this volume. He encounters the other version of her. And we've known that since her attempted suicide, when she originally went to the Gantz game, she actually didn't die. And so her original self is still alive. It's still living a normal life, knowing nothing about Gantz or anything. And the Gantz version of her has died. So, right then and there is showing that everybody in Gantz is just a copy of the original person. So the real Kurono died on that subway track in the very first volume, and every single time that he's been downloaded, copied over, is just another version of him. At least this is the theory. This is what we're going with, and this is what I think is happening. And that's a really scary thing if you start thinking about like the value of human life and everything like that. What does that mean if somebody can just be copied over again? And if there could be multiple versions of the same person, which there was two versions of Kishimoto back when she was around in the story. So this is crazy. This is absolutely insane, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen with that. Also, we do learn in this volume that not only are there just multiple Gantz teams, as we saw the Osaka team and the Tokyo team in the last mission, but there are potentially hundreds of Gantz. So the reporter guy who was talking, I can't remember his name, but he was talking to Kurono before. He goes to, I think, Germany, and he discovers this like factory, this warehouse where all of these Gantz spheres are being created. So all the Gantz spheres are man-made in some way. I don't know how. I don't understand what's going on with that. But seeing that is just terrifying. Then at the end of this volume, when they get into a new mission, well, actually before that, I guess I should talk about Nishi. And apparently all of his classmates hate him. They think he's weird. They think he's a creep. They saw him like murder a cat once, which I'd throw him out a window too if I knew that. And they throw him out a window. His classmates all gang up on him. It's this big kind of rallying moment, and they fucking toss him out a window. And of course, Nishi's wearing his Gantz suit at all times, so he doesn't die. He comes back up, and he just literally, he pulls out his Gantz gun, and he just obliterates his entire classroom. And whew, You know, talking about, we had like a mass shooting happen before with Izumi, but now we're talking about like a school shooting in Gantz too, and then this of course leads back into the original idea of like people thinking Gantz is just edgy for the sake of edginess, but I mean, they threw him out a window. I mean, like coming from Nishi's perspective, I mean, he wasn't hurt because he has the Gantz suit on. He could have just ran off, but he's Nishi, and he decided to go back for vengeance, and he attacked, and then he was attacked. The SWAT team came into the school, and he was firing at them as well, and then they actually managed to mow him down, but before they kill him, the Gantz mission starts. So that was a very interesting development too. It also means that now Nishi is going to be known as like a school shooter if he survives this this next mission, so who knows? But who knows if they're going to survive, because they get there and there are like dozens upon dozens of Gantz people there already. There's people dead already. It's just, you're already dropped in the middle of a war zone, and it's these like Greek statues. They're not even in Japan. Who knows what the hell is going on? It's like every time a new Gantz mission starts, they're just trying to fuck with you more, and if Gantz is man-made, then perhaps there is some sort of like higher up society, the powers that be, whatever it is, that are just testing people over and over again, or testing the limits and capacity of Gantz. I have no idea, but they get there and these statues just immediately, you know, just destroy their weapons and everything, and it seems as though like all hope is lost. It seems like this is going to be this might be Buddha Mission Part 2 as far as the characters dying, especially considering there's only like 11 volumes left, so who knows what's going to happen. Also, Schnoz showed up, so we see that Schnoz from Berserk is also in other mediums, so you got to appreciate Schnoz when you see him. So other than that, I'm excited to get into this mission and see what's going to happen to these characters, considering the fact that I'm about like 1/3 away from finishing Gantz. Things might not look good for these characters, so I'll see what happens. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for putting up with my rantings and ravings about things that probably have nothing to do with Gantz, but they're just how I kind of view the story as I'm going through it. So hopefully you appreciated my rants. If you didn't, whatever. I mean, you made it this far into the video, I guess, so you must have liked something about it. Please like this video, give it a thumbs up if you will. Also comment down below, because interaction with the video helps it be seen in the algorithm. And the Gantz videos are starting to get a little bit more traction, because apparently there's some more Gantz fans out there. So come on, we got to gather together, we got to rally together, Gantz fans, because there isn't enough of us, especially on YouTube. So please comment down below. Other than that, guys, subscribe if you want to stick around. Check out the Discord and Patreon links down below, and I will talk to you guys in the next review.